guys, I'm That Organic Mom, and today we're heading to Costco to pick up some groceries so we can show you how to do a quick meal prep. We just got back from Costco with all of our stuff, and I'm going to start putting it away, but I wanted to show you what I got for this meal prep, which is just going to be lasagna, enchiladas, burritos, sweet potatoes, and chicken. But I've already put away my chicken that I got, and then I had left out my organic ground beef. I got some organic eggs, cage-free eggs, and then I got some tortillas here, some organic extra virgin olive oil, which for me, I don't buy bread with high fructose corn syrup, and in a perfect world I would make it myself, but this is a quick meal prep before I go out of town for my teenagers and for my husband because they're not going with us. So I'm just going to try my best to make something that they will eat that will be better than fast food or restaurant food. So I got some avocados, and I found this new type of oats. It's just 100% oats from Costco. I've never seen that one there before, and then I was out of coconut oil, so I needed that. I got some various cheeses, Kirkland's brand, and then I did get some Kerrygold butter, but only 2 packs because my husband eats a ton of butter, and so do my children really, but it was not on sale this week, so I only got 2 packs, which if it ever is on sale, I stock up. I got some more cheese and then sour cream. I wanted ricotta, but they didn't have it for my lasagna, so I'm going to use this cottage cheese. And then this is something I've never seen at Costco before, but I picked up because it's fine grain Himalayan pink salt. And I usually get real salt, but I have to go somewhere else to get that, and so this was available and I got that instead. And then I like to buy my single ingredient as long as they're not sourced from China. This is chopped onion, and then this was paprika that I got for making my enchilada sauce homemade. Organic pasta sauce for the lasagna. And then I did get this. This was not on my list, but it looked like something that my daughter would like. She really likes ramen, and I'm always trying to find a way to make it healthier for her to eat it on occasion. And this looked really good, and I thought we might give it a try. So there's that. And then I did get my kids some sliced peaches. And then this is something that we get sometimes that's available at Costco, and my kids like to put this in noodles or other things, but it's organic, and it's basically just it's like bouillon, only it's better than bouillon, and it gives your soups and stuff a really good flavor. So that's it. And then down there, I didn't have room on the counter, is a big bag of sweet potatoes, and I'll show you what I do with that. Okay, so it's the night before my bulk cooking, and I'm going to start a crock pot full of pinto beans. Just going to add some water there and let these beans cook overnight, because I have 2 crock pots, and maybe not everyone has 2 crock pots, but you can pick them up really inexpensively at secondhand shops. But the reason I'm starting my pinto beans tonight is because tomorrow I'm going to cook my ground beef in one and my chicken in the other, so I need the beans to cook overnight. Okay, when you wake up, the beans are going to be all ready in the crock pot, and so what I did was just strain out all of the liquid that the beans had cooked in, and now I'm just going to use my immersion blender to mash the beans. I know this isn't technically refried beans, but this is the way I do it, and it works for me. You're going to want to add some salt and reserve just a little bit of the bean liquid from where they cooked, just so that if it starts to get too thick, you can add some of the bean liquid back in and get it working really good. But you want to start with just a little bit, not too much. You can also use a potato masher for this, but I do not have one. So we use the tools that we have. Also, I just wanted to mention when you wake up in the morning, this might fall under general freezer prep or meal prep tips. But when you wake up in the morning, you want to have your dishwasher empty. Your kitchen needs to be clean, and you want to run a sink full of hot soapy dishwater. And then I like to get out what I call my kitchen army, which is basically all of the tools that I'm going to use, which for me today is a steamer. I'm going to steam some eggs in here, for basically boiled eggs. And then I have my rice cooker and 2 crock pots. I just add my chicken to one of the crock pots, and then I just add just a few splashes of soy sauce. This is the one that I like to use. And then I'm going to do the same thing with my organic ground beef in my second crock pot. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do in getting my army started is I'm going to start some steamed eggs in here. I like to have some boiled eggs ready for just grab and go type snacks, or you can add them to salads. You can make, we call them egg boats, which I think most people call them deviled eggs. You can make egg salad. There's so many things you can do with boiled eggs. But I already have water in my steamer, so now I'm just going to fill up the steaming tray with my eggs. Okay, so now I have my eggs in here. They're ready to put in the steamer. So I'm just going to put it in there, and then I'm going to start it. And then typically if you want a soft boiled egg, you're going to want to go about 6 minutes once it starts to steam. If you want a more hard boiled egg, probably about 10 to 12 minutes. So I'm going to start my rice cooker. So the first thing I'm going to do is I like to rinse my rice. And I'm making brown rice this time, so I'm just going to use 2 cups of brown rice in here. Okay, I have my brown rice ready to go in my rice cooker. You could use chicken broth or another type of broth, but this time I just use water. I'm just going to select brown rice, and this is cooking. So now I have my army going full steam ahead. I've got my chicken, my beef, my rice, and my eggs. And now I'm going to go ahead and pop these sweet potatoes in the oven. Okay, now I have my beans ready to season. I like to leave some of the beans, intact, so I don't, mash it all the way until it's just complete puree. So, and I really don't measure this stuff, but you can measure it if you like, or just taste as you go. But I like to put a few dashes of paprika, and then I'm going to add some minced onions, just a little bit. And then a sprinkle of garlic and just a dash of cayenne pepper. My little kids aren't going to be eating it, so maybe 2 dashes. This is going to be for my teenagers and my husband. So, and then I'm going to put a good bit of salt in there because beans tend to need a good deal of salt. And then I'm just going to stir this up and set it aside for when I'm ready to prepare my burritos. Okay, so while I am making the enchilada sauce, I just wanted to show you another quick way you can steam eggs. Because eggs are easier to peel if they've been steamed. So another way, if you don't have a rice cooker / steamer, you can use a bamboo steamer over a pot of boiling water. And this one just, I have to get it just right. Okay, so I'm going to set my timer for 6 minutes because I want these to be soft boiled as opposed to hard boiled. Now if you wanted them hard boiled, you could set your timer for 10 minutes, but I'm going to go with 6. And then as soon as these finish steaming, you want to put them immediately in a bowl of icy water, and that will stop them from cooking. And then they're really simple to peel. Okay, so I am going to make my own enchilada sauce, and I have my recipe right here. If you have the Cozy app, you can now look at your recipes on your phone, which I really love and I use it a lot. So I have this enchilada recipe in here. I've already mixed up my chili powder, because I don't buy chili powder at the store already mixed, because it's usually full of all kinds of fillers, and I don't want to add the corn or whatever else they put in there, so I just do my own. So you want to start out with just about 2 tablespoons of oil. I guess I should measure. You want 2 tablespoons of oil in your pan, because you're going to make, you're going to put some flour in here. This is a 1/2 tablespoon measuring spoon. So you're going to start out with the oil, and I'm using grapeseed oil because you can use this over high heat cooking. I don't recommend using olive oil in cooking. You want to use olive oil for pouring over stuff like salads and things, but you don't want to cook with olive oil. To my oil, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, or you can use a gluten-free version, but since this is for my kids and my husband and they don't follow a gluten-free diet, I'm going to just use regular all-purpose flour. And then you just want to stir that up. Okay, so I'm working on the enchilada sauce. After the flour and oil, you just want to add about 2 cups of chicken stock. You could probably use beef stock or whatever you have on hand. It's going to just whisk this. Now I've put my homemade chili powder in here. This is for my enchilada sauce. There, the eggs are done. So I'm just going to put these right into a pan of icy cold water. Now I'm going to start on layering the lasagna. You'll notice that I am now wearing this glove because I hurt myself. Thankfully, I have children who can bandage my wounds.
Okay, Band-Aids. I got Band-Aids. It's not sticky. Outside. Okay, Chris. Sorry. I don't care.
I've applied pressure and it has stopped bleeding, but it is right there. Perfect. Ah, yeah, it didn't stop bleeding. I now must wear a glove. Oh my goodness, it hurts so bad.
Are you alright, Great Empress?
Oh, I never cut myself. I was in a hurry. Now I'm sad, and I will be okay. So I usually do not use aluminum foil or tin, aluminum, whatever. I don't use this stuff usually because I don't like to cook with aluminum. I almost never do this. Actually, this is a very rare thing for me. But I couldn't really come up with a great way to prepare a lot of meals for my family without using extra containers. I don't have that many 9x13 pans, and I thought about using parchment paper in the bottom, but then I would have to bake them and then freeze them individually, and that would take too long. Anyways, I'm not really big on measuring. I think what I'm trying to say here is you do not have to do this perfectly. You do not have to do everything in the kitchen perfectly. My kids could do this without my help. That's how easy this is. So it doesn't have to be in a certain order. Of course, a professional chef might not agree with that, but I am not a professional chef. I'm just a mom who cooks some food for her kids, and I wanted to share with you how easy it can be to do meal prep and like make ahead meals. It's not that hard. You can do this. And like I said, it does not have to be perfect. You can see that it's not perfect. I'm just doing this, but this is going to be so much better for my family than them eating out or peanut butter and jelly. I don't know what they would eat if I didn't cook while I was gone. So I just wanted to do something that they could, you know, pop in the oven after school or after work and just have something healthy and nutritious to eat. So that's why I'm doing this, and you can do it too. And that's my little pep talk for the day. Okay, there we go. We have this ready to pop in the oven. And here I have cut up half of the chicken that I had in my crock pot. And I have my enchilada sauce ready here, and then I have my tortillas sitting there. So you kind of want to have like a little assembly line. And you could actually make this a lot more complicated, but I'm going for the simple thing. Okay, so I'm going to use this little basting brush or barbecue brush to just lightly, very lightly coat the bottom of these two pans. And then I'm going to start layering. Instead of making enchiladas just individually wrapped, I decided that it would be fun to make flat enchiladas. So these pans aren't the perfect size, but I'm just going to make it work like this. And this is just super easy. I'm just trying to keep it really, really simple. I'm going to cut my chicken up just a little bit more because you want it to be kind of small, really small bites of chicken. There. And then I'm going to sprinkle on some tricolor peppers. Whoops! That's more than a sprinkle. Spread those out a little bit. These are still frozen. I took them right out of the freezer. So that's one layer. This is just Mexican style blended cheese. And this is a great job for your teenagers or your little kids. They can do this. They can learn to do this. So if you want a helper, you can even set up an assembly line. I've done it with my mom before, where I do the wrap and then she finishes wrapping it up. It's always nice if you have someone to help you. Okay, this part of the meal prep is not for the freezer. You know, we saved half of the chicken from the crock pot, and then we have our sweet potatoes, and this is how I like to do the meal prep for that. I just cut the sweet potato in half and put it in the container. After I put it in the container, I like to take just about a teaspoon of Parmesan on top, and then we all love Frank's. It's the best. So just add some Frank's to it. And there you go, meal prep. Then you can just pair this with a nice salad in a jar, and you have your meal prep ready to go. Now I'm going to do this with the rest of the chicken and sweet potatoes.